Good morning out there, fellow gardeners. This is Kathy, the neighborhood gardener. Up early this morning, could not sleep, so I thought, let's get out and get our day started. It's about 5 a.m. in the morning, and so this is where I come in the mornings when I first start my day. I come out to my porch, bring my coffee out here. I do a little bit of reading, scripture reading, and this is my prayer porch basically. One of the things we're going to be talking about today in this video is bringing the outdoors in, whether it's in a porch setting like this or indoors. And I was just going to kind of share with you some of the challenges that I've faced once I started getting into indoor gardening. But over the last couple of years, I started bringing the outdoors in, and this is how I slowly did it. Or maybe it wasn't so slow, maybe I just kind of did it all at once, because if you're like me, you love plants and you just see everyone you see, you think you have to have it, and you think it's going to do great in your house, but that is not the reality of it. Sometimes you just have to get to know the plants, know the placement of the plant's needs, lighting. There's a lot involved, and you do lose plants. And it's happened to me many times, but you do the best you can. For instance, I did have up on that shelf up there, I had two hanging plants that really didn't do so well, mainly because of my neglect. I had to get a ladder and get up there and water it all the time, and sometimes I just didn't have time. Sometimes it was out of laziness. So I tried to learn the different plants that work for me. They don't have to be exotic, expensive plants, because you're really going for what makes you happy. And you have to look at the time that you have with the plants, how much time you have to care for them, what really brings you some happiness out of there. I also have a jungle inside as well. I think I just live in a jungle. I just love it. And I think if you're like me, it just brings you some peace and calms you down. There is an empty pot up there. I have a couple of pots up there that I had ferns in, and ferns and I do not mix. Some ferns. You have casualties, and that's just what happens. So we're going to talk about some of that and some of the pitfalls I'm going to share with you that I fell into. And you don't want it to take away the peace and the joy that you have when you're creating these spaces. So quick shot here. And then we're going to go indoors in a little while after I finish my coffee and finish my reading out here. Okay, so let's go in here. This is my guest bathroom. I just wanted to show you, I did bring a little bit of the outdoors in with air plants, Tillandsia. So let me just kind of show you what I have in here. I have a few different types of the air plants just sitting in this south-facing window. And you can kind of see they just add a little bit of interest into the bathroom. Got a few little vessels there that they just sit in, and another little hanging plant. I got this little planter at the farmer's market. I thought that was pretty cool. And again, these are just the easiest plants. They do not need any soil. You can see they just have the roots on the bottom, but they're air plants. All I do with these, I take these out once a week. I spray them down with a spray bottle, or you can actually even soak those. Some people soak them. It's worked for me to just take these out of the vessels here, and I'll just take them by the sink. I'll spray the roots, spray the whole plant really good with a spray bottle, and then I just kind of put it back in here and I just kind of let it drip into this vessel. Other than that, this little girl, her head came off. That was a casualty, and I added another little air plant in there, so I could take a hot glue gun and glue that one back in there. But that's just a little area of where you can use air plants. Not much care at all, just once a week. It takes just minutes to spray them down. Okay, and here we are in my hallway. I have some bookcases over here that I have just a few plants in there. You don't have to have a jungle everywhere, just a few plants placed here and there. Just bring a little bit of that outdoors in some small areas like this. Over here, I'm going to give you a quick look here. I've got a starfish sansevieria that just looks beautiful. Those are my grandkids' handprints that my daughter had made for Christmas one year. Down here, a little bit of a beachy theme, I guess, what I've got going on. You can see I've got some sand, a little vase here, some shells and things that we had collected at the beach one year. And I've just got it right here with just a little sansevieria cylindrical pup. And he's not growing a whole lot, but he's alive and doing just fine. So that just gives a little bit of an interest here in these bookshelves and a little bit of outdoors look. And what I have here, let me show you a couple of casualties I had here because like I said, it does happen. These are a couple of my little tribal ladies that had the air plants in their heads. And you can kind of see they died because this was not the right placement for them. But I kind of went with, all right, let's go with the beach theme, right? So these little pots, I got these at a little beach shop down in New Smyrna Beach. Anyway, I've got sand in these pots. And this is just goes with the beach theme, so I just say this is their beach hair. Look at that. It's kind of the way my hair looks like when I go to the beach. So for me, it just worked out fine. They got little dead heads, but I left them. Okay, so here we are in another room that maybe some people may think this is a little overboard, but this is my jungle bathroom. This is my bathroom that I am soaking in a tub every night in here, and I just love it. So let me show you a few of the plants and how I've decorated in here to bring that feel in here. Up here, I have got a golden pothos, and that just kind of hangs on the other side of the shower. Let's go on the other side of the shower, and I'm going to show you what this looks like over here. It does get a little more jungled up as we go over here. And there is the other side of that. And you can see it's got a long vine. It goes all the way down to the floor. I love long vining plants, and that just seemed to work really well for this shower area. And you can kind of see over there in the corner of the floor, there is a little air plant over there. I don't know if I can zoom in on that. And oh, I can. Look at there, little beachy area there with some dead air plants, but I think it kind of looks natural, so I like it like that. So I just put them on the floor and left them. And then I have this old antique stool that I found at a resale shop, and I thought it was a perfect stool to put this Monstera addisoni on. This guy just loves living in here. Bathrooms are usually pretty humid, and this guy just looks beautiful. He's loving life in this bathroom. So he's got the shower. Again, don't judge me. I just like to soak in tubs. If I'm going to shower, it's in the other bathroom. But mainly this is where I like to be. This is the tub area. And I do have a few other plants over here that are placed really well that survive in this area. This is a west-facing window, so I get hot afternoon sun in here, but with those blocks in that window, it kind of filters it out. So here I've got a Scindapsus, I believe it's the Silvery Ann, and it's just in a hanging planter, and it does really well there in front of that window. And then behind here, I've got a couple of sansevierias, and that is a bird's nest sansevieria. And then on this side here, I've got the mermaid sansevieria. I've got a couple of those. You can see it's just a dark, almost a solid green. And then next to that, I've got a Sansevieria zeylinica. And these sansevierias are just the best, no care, next to nothing that you have to do to these. This is another mermaid sansevieria there. And then inside of this shower area, that's a Sansevieria cylindrica in there. So those do really well in there. And then over on this shelf over here, I have a variety of a few things here. I've got some Tillandsia air plants in there, and they seem to do really well. And a Begonia macrolata that is just reaching out. It is loving life over here. Again, I think it's the humidity in here that does it for them. And I've got a couple of little air plant ladies back there, and they seem to be, oh, that one has beachhead. Her hair dyed as well, just like those others in the hall. And this one is a little closer to the light, so she's doing really good. So they're enjoying that area. And then up here on this top shelf, I've got a small little Brazil philodendron. Look at the coloring on those leaves. They're just beautiful. That's one of my most favorite plants, just because of the coloring and the shading on these leaves. I love that. And then I've got another Sansevieria, moonshine Sansevieria up there, and another, I believe that's a pearls and jade pothos, and then a small little Sansevieria, or not Sansevieria, that's a Tillandsia air plant there, who seems to be loving it as well. And then the last little plant that I have in here on the tub is a Sansevieria laurenti. It's the bird's nest. So that's as tall as that one's going to get. So that is my jungle bathroom area. Okay, and then back into the living space area. Just put little things around, just pictures. These are just pictures of my garden, flowers that I've grown in the garden, and just put them up on the wall instead of buying a picture. I took my own pictures, and I love how that looks. I've got a couple of Sansevierias down there. I've got a nice Brazil philodendron up on the fireplace. All easy care plants. Again, you want plants that are just gonna not take up all of your time. That is the Calathea table down there, and then I've got a nice huge Monstera deliciosa. I love the shadows on the wall. And then on the top of my television up there, I've got plants that are just loving living up there. I've moved things around. This is a Hoya macrophylla, doing beautiful. And then those are some pearls and jade pothos back there. And again, another Scindapsus. I believe that's the silvery and or the satin. I can't remember. And then the Spathiphyllum, the peace lily. This guy just lets me know when he needs more water. I just really just look at him. When he starts drooping, I'll give him some water and he perks right back up. In the dining room, got low care plants in there as well. Sansevieria and golden pothos and other Sansevieria. And back in the back there is a Chinese evergreen. But again, I just try to make it where it has a bit of an outdoor feel inside for me, and the plants, I just don't want to spend all of my time. They are time consuming, so cut it down however you can. Get some easy care plants. It'll make your life a little easier. Okay, so that was it for my little indoor jungle tour. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope it inspired you in some way to get started with an indoor jungle. Just remember, don't get in over your head, don't get in over your budget, and you'll enjoy it much more. You're gonna have casualties. Case in point, not sure what's going on with this Scindapsus exotica. Trying to work it out. It may survive, it may not, but I'm gonna do the best I can. My white infusion Calathea, neglect. I forgot to water it. And yeah, and some plants are just not gonna thrive so well. Look at this little guy. He's hanging in there, but he's just a little poor looking. I can't figure out what it is with him, but I will. And if I don't, it's just a plant. It'll be okay. So, and you will too. So I hope you enjoyed this little video, and I hope you get some plants. Pick out a little corner in the place of your house. Doesn't have to be a full room. Just pick out a little corner somewhere. You can stick a chair where you can just sit there and be peaceful. Hang some plants, put them around the table around you. Sit, read, pray, whatever it is that brings you some happiness and peace. Do it. And as always, I appreciate you watching. And if you liked it, thumbs up, please. And if you'd like to subscribe, please do so. I appreciate that. I appreciate you watching and giving your time to this. So anyway, have a great week out there, and we'll be catching up soon in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.